Happy Monday, American contractors throughout this great country of ours. We're so excited to be with you here on Mindset Monday, brought to you by Contractor Plus, the only CRM you will ever need to build the contracting business of your dreams. You should trademark that. I just came up with that. I think it sounded pretty good. Well, we are excited to have you. If you're watching us live, go ahead and drop your name, your company's name, and where it is you are in this great country, the United States of America, so we can shout you out. Really excited to be with you guys here today. Getting a little comfortable in my seat here. It's really interesting what happens this time of year. And it doesn't matter if you're in the north, if you're in the south, if you're in the east, and you're in the west. Something happens around mid-April to mid-May, and that is people get excited. Doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It doesn't matter, what politics are doing. It doesn't matter, again, where it is that you live, but people get excited. What do they get excited about? Well, they spend all of winter cooped up, unless, of course, you're in Arizona or Florida or one of those states, but they spend all of the winter cooped up, right? And they want to do something. And so they go to Home Depot and they buy their garden soil, or they go to Lowe's and they buy the 2x4s, to start working on their house. People do spring cleaning, right? People want to get things done. Now, here's the interesting part about wanting to get things done. There's a certain percentage of this population, and I would like to think that it's close to 50%, that actually aren't DIYers. In other words, they don't want to do it themselves. They want somebody to help them do it. The question is, who's that going to be? And that, my friends, is the topic of conversation today. How is it that we become that guy or that gal, that person who's going to help build America, who's going to help rebuild America? I like all these political slogans. Who's going to help the person who's in their situation right now get the thing that they want? Again, if you're joining us live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, where it is that you're from, so we can shout you out. Now, we're talking about the American consumer, of which, by the way, each of you are a part of. Now, what is it that drives us to want to fix things, to want to improve things, to want to make things better? Well, inside of us, again, we have the American spirit. And the American spirit says we can do better. We can do more, right? We want things to look nice, to be improved. And now is when that season starts. But how are we taking advantage of it? Now, for some of you, you understand this game because the game is played on two fronts. The game is played on the front of marketing, and the game is played on the front of margins. Now, they may seem like completely different pieces of the puzzle. However, they are interrelated, and I'm going to share with you why. So let's talk marketing for a second. We've mentioned on the show a few times what marketing is. It's getting people's attention. Now, how are we getting their attention? Is it through Facebook ads, posts, through blogs, through websites? Is it through pay-per-click, Google ads, Facebook ads? Is it through hosting community events, being a part of the home show, shaking hands and kissing babies, knocking on doors? Well, whatever it is for you, you need to market for your business to grow. I know some of you are going to say, well, I get referrals. Well, congratulations. That's a good thing. But that is not something that you control. And we don't know when those referrals are going to come in, and we don't know when they're going to end. That's not a position you want to be in. So you want to take control. So the first M, marketing. What are we doing to market our business? Now, I'm not here to tell you what you should do, but I'm here to tell you that in order for you to grow your business, you need to market. We've got Creative Remodeling and Plus out of Hotlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the show. Again, if you're here live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, where you're from, so we can shout you out. Now, when it comes to marketing, before you go out and spend $10,000 on Facebook ads or $5,000 to be part of a mailer, or you spend $8,000 to be part of the home and garden show, before you do that, there's something that needs to happen. And that is an understanding of who it is that you want to serve and what it is that you want to do for them. This last week, I had a client come into the office and we were talking about this. We got Mike B from Home Tech Pro in New York. Welcome to the show. So I had this client come into the office and we were talking about this very particular point. Now he's a new client, not new in business. He's doing pretty well for himself, pushing 7 figures. But he said things seem stagnant. They're not moving. And so the first thing that we looked at was his marketing. What was he doing to market his business? Well, guess what? There wasn't much. He built his business on referrals. He's built his business on, he would have his techs go to a house and service the house, and then they would go knock the doors or leave door hangers on the surrounding houses. And it was working pretty good for him. We got Tristan Laponce with the Tarp Guys out of Tennessee and Victor with Rhino Builders out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to the show. Now, when we started looking at what he was doing to market, what we realized is there was a huge opportunity in front of him because he had the Google reviews from satisfied clients. He had the techs that could handle more work, but he didn't have a plan. And we started to look at this from this very unique perspective. Now, I'm going to take plumbing, for example, because this is who we're talking about. And this applies to every business, though. As a plumber, you can serve one of three different areas. Number one is you can serve residential homeowners, right? And we're talking about water heaters or leaky drains or changing out toilets, right? Water softeners. This is the stuff that we're talking about. We got Eddie P or Eddie P's Handy EPs. One of these days I'll get it right. Handyman Services out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Welcome. So or as a plumber, you can deal with homeowners directly, right? And offer your services to homeowners. The other people that you can offer services to are residential builders and remodelers or commercial type activities, right? Those are the three areas that you can focus on. And what we realized is he was trying to focus on all three. Well, think about it. How hard is it to focus on all three? It's pretty hard because if you're going to do any type of advertising, right, putting dollars behind your marketing campaign, who is it that you're marketing to? Well, you can't market to all three because a homeowner isn't going to know what a rough-in is, right? What do they care about? They care about their toilet. They care about their sink. They care about their water heater. That's what they care about. So it's a different conversation, okay? So the first thing you got to understand is who is it that I want to work with? As a business owner, who do I want to work with? We got All the Works NC out of Greensboro. Welcome. Who is it that I want to work with? Now, some of you may be able to tell me that, and some of you may not. In fact, I'd love to hear in the comments, who is it that you serve? And I want you to get as specific as possible because it matters. Last week, I was on site with a developer, and they had just finished a six-plex. 6-unit townhome complex. Is actually pretty beautiful. The way they set it up, it was on a smaller lot, but the way they set it up is the garages go almost all the way through, and then they could actually fit a full-size truck in there, which most of these townhomes, duplexes can't. So it's kind of unique. But we were talking about their particular area and who is it that they serve. And they are very clear on who it is that they work with. They work with multifamily and commercial developers and help them finish out their products or projects, right? That's what they do. All right. Edward says, I service middle-class homeowners and property management companies. That's great. And you are a handyman service. Super clear. But even with those two, slightly different message. One is directly with the homeowners, and one is with somebody who manages renters or occupants of residences. Love it. Home Tech Pro, 60% of our client base is 55 plus. Man, that is some good data right there, right? So if 60% of your clientele are 55 plus, well, you're talking to a different audience. You're not going to talk about making sure the kids have a safe home to live in, right? You're 55 plus, there's a different phase in life that you're worried about, that you're focusing on. Cool. So the goal then, when it comes to marketing, is be very clear on who it is that you serve and what is it that you do for them, right? So Edward, it's great that you're serving middle-class homeowners and property management companies, but what do you do for them? Are you the on-call handyman? Are you the guy who offers a maintenance package that you're going to come out on a once-a-month basis or once-a-quarter basis and handle, these basic things? Or is it on a call-by-call basis? Like, what does that look like? Right? Presenting solutions to these guys. All right. Edward says, my marketing is only towards homeowners. I reach out directly to property management companies. Awesome. That's great. Right? But again, what is the solution? What is the problem that you're solving? This is what's so important in marketing. So when we talk about marketing, then, yes, we're getting people's attention, but we're getting their attention for a reason. We want them to do business with us. I had a mentor a few years ago who gave me this formula. His name is Garrett White, and I 100% give him credit for this. He said, problem, pain, possibility, path. Those are the 4 P's. And this is what people are looking for, right? They have a problem. Problem could be a leaky roof. Problem could be a sprinkler head that's out. Problem could be an ugly bathroom, right? But they have a problem. What's the pain associated with that problem? If they don't know the pain, there's a high likelihood they're not going to use your service. Why? Because we're not going to go for a solution that we don't believe is going to solve a problem. Okay. So we have to be clear on that problem. And you can ask them, by the way, hey, Mrs. Jones, I know you want to replace your bathroom. You want to update your bathroom, but why? Like, what's the reason? Do you mind me asking? What is the reason? Oh, A, B, C, D, whatever the thing is. They gave you all the ammunition you need for your sales presentation later, right? Now, the possibility that exists, right? Let's take the same example, the bathroom. You know what? Like, I just can't it's not functional enough. I can't get around. It takes me too long to get ready in the morning. My husband's stuff's in my corner. I hate this. Like, I need more space. I need to redevelop. I need more functionality. Great. So what's the possibility? Like, what are you actually looking for? Are you looking to expand this bathroom, double the size? Are you just looking to reconfigure it? Like, what's the thing you're looking for? Again, problem, pain, possibility, and the path. Mrs. Jones, love this. So just to make sure that I heard you right, you said A, B, C, D were your problems. You said E and F or what it was that you were looking for. Well, I have great news for you. We've actually worked with many homeowners in your exact situation and helped provide the solution to this exact problem. Would you like to hear how? Right? Again, marketing, problem, pain, possibility, path. We've got Home Tech Pro. So shout out to all the handymen out there, but definitely a different game when you come in as a contractor versus handyman. 100%, my man, 100%. Which, by the way, remodelers and handymen should be best friends. Like, you guys should referring business back and forth all day, every day. Okay. Edward says, for homeowners, I provide routine repairs and maintenance. I do emergency calls. Cool. Property managers, I do service calls, move outs, unit turns, and emergency calls. Great. Awesome. Okay. So we've got marketing. Okay. And I think you guys understand marketing, which, by the way, if you have any questions around marketing and maybe specifically around your business, like, how do I market my business? Or I've had an issue in trying to market to these people, drop it in the comments, my friends. We love to find solutions to problems here. I'm going to move on, but if there's a comment, I will move back and address it. Now, at the beginning of the call, we talked about the 2 M's, marketing and margin. Now, who knows the difference between markup and margin? Markup and margin. Most contractors don't understand this, which is why at the beginning of the month, you're like, holy cow, look at this. We got some good cash coming in. And at the end of the month, you're like, where did all the cash go? Okay. You look like the kids at the Chuck E. Cheese line, right? It's like, where did all that pizza go? I don't know. Like, it just disappeared. It went somewhere. I don't know where. Right. And so we start looking at this and saying markup and margin are not the same thing. You're not in business simply to make money. Let me repeat this. You are not in business simply to make money. Some of you guys are probably like, wait a minute, what did you just say? Yeah, I said it. You're not in business to make money. Why are you in business? To keep money. At the end of the day, what matters is what's left over in your bank account. Think about it. Would you rather make $1 million and keep 75,000, or would you rather make 500,000 and keep 100,000? Pretty simple, right? We want to keep more money. The problem is we don't know how to price things so that we keep more money. So markup versus margin. You guys are like, hey, my profit margin's 32%, or my profit margin's 17%, whatever it is. You may know it. You may not. Okay. So if you think that you know the difference between markup and margin, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm curious if anybody knows the answer to this. And know, if you're sitting in front of your desk and you Google it, it doesn't count. Okay. But we want to know if you know the answer to this. We got Ryan that dropped a comment. He says, I'm starting in biz or a biz that focuses on aging in place. What is a good strategy for marketing? Thank you, Ryan. It sounds like you're a remodeler, but aging in place, for those of you that don't understand what that means instead of you going to a nursing home, assisted care facility, so on and so forth, or sending your parents there, you make sure that can happen in the home that they're currently in or that you're currently in, right? Aging in place. So we look at this and we say, okay, aging in place. First of all, who does this apply to? Well, it could be one of two different audiences. It could be the person aging in place themselves or the children of the people aging in place. Now it's your decision on who it is that you want to market to, right? I would focus on the one that has the most money. There are a lot of baby boomers that have money and want to age in place, right? That's their thing. But there's also some that don't have money, but their kids do. So understand that that's going to be different, right? That message is going to be different. You're talking to the homeowner who wants to age in place. You're talking to the kids of the homeowners that want to age in place. Okay. But what is the problem? The problem is the house isn't functional. The problem is that the house isn't safe. The problem is that the house doesn't provide for the needs. You see what I mean? Now you're starting to use phrases like this, and you can get as specific as you want, right? Think about what are the things that make a house non-functional for someone who's aging in place? What are the things that make the house unsafe for people who are aging in place? By the way, my parents are going through this right now. My dad's approaching 80. My mom's in her mid 70s. My mom had a stroke a few years back. It's getting really hard for them to get around. And we've had the talk being, hey, if we're going to stay here, there's some things we're going to have to do to make it more comfortable for you. If we're not, then we need to cross that bridge. Okay. So we look at this and say, if I'm talking to the homeowners, I need to figure out why. Why would they want to age in place? Well, they're going to want to age in place because it's something that they're comfortable with. It's an environment that they're comfortable with. But again, it's not safe. It's not functional. But what are some of the things? And again, going back to my parents, perfect example. My mom uses a cane now. Hate to admit it, sucks. Yeah, my mom uses a cane. What are some of the hazards that she has? Well, the first thing as you're approaching the house is going to be the steps. There's steps from the front door and from the garage door and from the back door. Steps are dangerous, especially for older people. So what can we do to help with that issue? Well, there's a solution, a ramp. Okay. Now you can do a temporary ramp or you can make a really fancy ramp. But the point is the steps are unsafe. Okay. Now you start looking at functionality. Bless my mom. She is 5'4". She cannot reach the top cabinets. She never has been able to. Now, for a long time, she had a step stool and that worked for her. But now she can't use the step stool because she's using a cane. It's really dangerous for her to get up in any elevated positions. So what else is not functional? Well, cabinet space. We like to go up, right? But that doesn't help us going up. We need to come down. So there's something else. You talk about bathrooms, right? Accessibility to showers, right? And so we can keep going down this list. But if you can't identify the potential problems, you'll never be able to provide a solution. So Edward, or it wasn't Edward, it was Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Great question. But that's what I would focus on. Who is it that I'm speaking to? The kids of the people who are aging in place, or the people who are aging in place, or and what is the solution, what is the problem that they have? And what is my solution? Okay, we're going to go through some more comments here. We got Tristan who says, I do emergency tarping for residential homes. You work somewhere where there's a whole lot of bad storms. Currently, most of my business comes from a contract I set up with a local ServPro. I want to get referrals from and jobs from insurance companies. What would be the best way to target this market? Great question, Tristan. Now, I don't know how profitable just putting tarps up for ServPro is, but the first thing that comes to my mind is your ability to offer more than just tarping, right? Like, why would somebody call you? Well, it's a leaky something, and that's why you're providing tarps. But what else could you help to mitigate on the front end? Okay, you look at ServPro, for example, and you say, could I be more than just the tarp guy for ServPro? Could I help stabilize it so that ServPro can come in, clean up, and then, if there's a rebuild, they can rebuild? That's something I would look at. The other thing I would look at is, and I'm not sure with insurance companies, so I can't speak directly to this, but if you're working with ServPro, guess what? They're not the only companies out there that are dealing with flood, fire damage, water damage to a home. So I would Google in your area restoration companies And then I would go build relationships with them and see what services you could offer to them, right? That's the first place I would go. Now, insurance companies, again, don't have a ton of experience in it. I do know insurance companies don't like to pay, but maybe for your service, they do. So it would be the same thing. Why would an insurance company want to do work with you? Okay. The first question we got to answer, why would somebody want to do business with you? Now, is there a possibility that the insurance company is paying for this and they don't want to pay more dollars, so it makes sense for them to get it tarped? Sure. Okay. Now, is that something they're willing to pay for though? Or do they already have contracts in place with, say, a ServPro or somebody else that goes ahead and takes care of this? Don't know. Don't know. Okay. So this is something that you're going to have to do a little bit more digging on. But 100%, if you're already working with ServPro and that is working, then I would find more companies like ServPro and offer your same services. Then once you have the market cornered on tarping for emergencies, I would say, what else can I add to my suite of services that would help make the life of ServPro and every other restoration company easier? Make sense? Cool. Great questions, by the way, around marketing. Love it, love it, love it. Now, let's look at markup versus margin. So I didn't see any comments inside of there. So markup versus margin. Now, when we say markup, that's how much we're tacking on to the price so that we can make money, in theory. Okay. So we're saying, we're just going to use round numbers. We're going to say, in order to complete this job, it's going to cost me $100. $100. I want to make money off of this, so I'm going to tack on an extra $50. So it cost me $100. I'm charging $150. Now your markup is $50. What is your margin? This is where if we had Jeopardy music, we would be playing it. Do, 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 do. No, I didn't go to music school. Markup versus margin. Again, your product or service is going to cost you labor, materials, $100. You're charging them $150. So your markup is $50. What is your margin? Go ahead and drop your comment. I'm going to wait a little bit because I want to see if anybody hits this. Markup $50. So now you're charging them $150. What is your margin? I'm going to wait a second for the answers to come in. We've got a little bit of a delay. In the meantime, why is it important to know your markup versus your margin? Again, we want you to keep more dollars. And the only way for you to keep more dollars is not necessarily just to charge more dollars, because we have to make sure that you're charging the right amount of dollars, one, to win the job, but two, to make sure that you're keeping more money. Okay. Stephen Hunt says 50%. Well, that's a great answer, Stephen. And that is the answer that most contractors give, 50%. However, you are incorrect. It is not 50%. Any other answers out there? We have a 50%. What else do we think it is? I'm not going to pronounce your name. Something with apples. Apple? Korov? Yeah, I can't pronounce that. You're on the screen. 33%. Bingo. 33% is correct. Why? Okay, so let's look at this. $50, okay, or excuse me, $100 is what you're charging for, back this thing up. $100, labor and materials. That's your cost. $50 is your markup, okay? So now we have $150, okay? But what did we add? We added 50% to our cost, which is our markup. But again, markup and margin are not the same thing. There you go. $50 divided by the total charge. $50 divided by 150 is 33%. Carissa, thank you. Well done. Well done. So you have a 33% margin. Does that make sense? Okay. So understand, if you want your profit margin to be 50%, what should you charge? What do you guys think? Labor and materials, $100. You want your profit margin to be 50%. What should you charge? What do you guys think? So we know that 33% gets us $150. Okay, $150. So a $50 markup gives us a 33% margin. Well, Carissa's all over all y'all today. It is correct. It is $200. Okay, $200. So again, you take the $100 above your labor and materials and divide it by, okay, $100 divided by $200. That gives you your 50%. Okay. Now, does this make sense? Understand this. Okay. So when you're looking at your margin, we're looking at how much money that we should be able to keep at the end of the day. I get it. We're not going to go into the details about fixed costs versus your variable costs and how you should tie all that in. Yes, you're right. But for the sake of conversation today, I want to keep it simple. All of your costs, labor, materials, all whatever your total costs are, add on your markup, okay? And then divide that by the total dollar amount gives you your margin. If you want your margin to be 50%, you know where it needs to be. And we just used an example. Home Tech Pro says 350 sounds better. I'm just saying, all day, every day, my man. I agree with you. But it's what your audience is willing to pay. Does that sound fair? Now, does anybody have any questions around markup or margin? I want you to understand this because I want you guys to keep more money, not just make more money. Making money's cool. Keeping money is way cooler, right? There's other things that you want to be able to do with your money. All right. So again, as we're talking about the growth of your contracting business, it doesn't matter if you're starting out. It doesn't matter if you've been in business 2 to 5 years. It doesn't matter if you've been in business 10 years. Okay. What is it that you should be focused on? The 2 M's. The first one is marketing, and the second one is margin. If you can unlock how to market, there's no limit to how big you can grow. Because again, you're clear on an audience, you're clear on the problem and the pain associated with that problem, and you have a solution for it. Okay? If we can do that, sky's the limit. On the backside, margin. Making sure that we're keeping more money. And I get it. Across industries, it's different. There's some industries that it's 18 to 20%. There's some industries, roofing calling you out, that you're like 50%. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just where the industry's at. So make sure you understand your numbers. Make sure you understand what you should be charging and why you should be charging it, because you're going to have to justify them. Right? We got Home Tech Pro says 350 sounds better than 150 or 200. Great. All day, every day. But can you sell it? Right? Will they buy it? Are they willing to buy it? Because if they're not willing to buy it, then it really doesn't matter, does it? All right. That's all we got for you guys today. The 2 M's, M&M. Remember the M&M's, marketing and margin. If you can keep those in mind and focus on those every single day, there's no way you can't build the contracting business of your dreams. All right. That's all we got for you guys. You know what time it is. It's time for you to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.
Contractor Plus is funded not by the deep pockets of venture capital firms in Silicon Valley, but by the real MVPs, our loyal fans and users. You've seen us grow, you've grown with us. Now this is your chance to invest and join us as a bona fide stakeholder in Contractor Plus. No velvet ropes, no accredited investors only, whether you've got $100 or $100,000. This isn't just for the well-heeled. It's for everyone who believes in us or uses Contractor Plus and wants to help us revolutionize the industry. Check out Contractor Plus on WeFund. Invest what you can, and let's build the future of contractor collaboration together.